Okay, so a lot of people want to know what's the difference between these style valves. This is first of all, these are both Irritrol valves. They're the type that I had two of these different types in, so that's what I'm using for the demonstration. This is what people often refer to as a jar top, and then this is just your standard bolt pattern. What that really means is just a different way of assembly. It makes it, when you take this one apart, you have to pull apart individual screws. So now you basically pull up, and I pull slightly to the side. You can see there's some debris in there. That's literally just stuff from manufacturing. This one has never been used. I've used it for several demonstrations, but never actually put it in operation. So basically what you'll see inside of it, and they both have the same thing, is there's going to be a diaphragm, which this one is now dirty, which we don't want to see it dirty. You want it to be as clean as possible when you put it back in. But there will be a diaphragm, and then this is the valve seat. Actually, the bottom will seat here. This is actually more of a section to support the diaphragm, so the diaphragm doesn't split. Both of these are important to keep super clean. When it goes back together, you don't want anything on any of these spots because it will cause it to leak. I'll show you what the other one looks like. Another thing when you're putting these back together, first of all, you got to make sure you have the spring. Okay, this is a port that goes to the solenoid. It's always right above the solenoid. And this one is not part of the diaphragm. In some other brands, it'll be part of the diaphragm. So you got to make sure that the seal that belongs right here is actually here. In this case, it's an O-ring, so it didn't move. So I'm going to set that on there, and then I'm going to take and go straight down with this solenoid directly that direction. When I feel it seat into place, then I can start reassembly. And reassembly is as simple as you tighten one of them down, then you go across to the other side, and you want to keep a similar pattern going all the way around. And the reasoning for that is because as you're doing it, if you'd go from here and just work your way around, it's actually going to cause the diaphragm and everything to kind of seat on a slight tilt. And while you can often get them to seat that way, you're more than likely going to have problems if you don't do more of this star pattern. And that is the disassembly and reassembly of one of these standard bolt style. Okay, now the jar top. This one's actually loose enough. They're not always loose enough to do by hand. If they're not, then grab some channel locks. They are often bigger than your biggest set of channel locks, so I find it pretty simple to open it to the largest size, then grip right on the tip of the teeth, have it almost touching right here, and then use that to break it loose. Once it's broken loose, with a jar top, you should be able to spin it off. So you just spin, 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 and the reason people call it a jar top is it's very similar to mason jar threads. Right here, you pop that sideways just a little bit, and it makes it pop open. Now in this specific setting, this is actually the flow control. Then you got your spring, that same style diaphragm as the other one, and then the valve seat. And you can see this one's also dirty, has never been used, just like the other one. It's only been used for demonstration. I purchased them years ago to make a repair that I didn't actually need them for, so I wound up hanging on to them and using them for demonstration. Okay, then really reassemble. Again, you got to make sure that everything is clean. Press it back in where it belongs. Slide this back down in. Make sure that the the seat is pressed in all the way around. Sometimes these will like get a little oblong when you're setting them down, and you don't want them to overlap onto this section or they're never going to seal. Again, you got to make sure that your spring is in place or it's not going to work. And you take and you set. This one is not as directional as the others, where normal ones, the solenoid tells you where it's going to go. This just needs to go straight down. And I typically pick a spot where they will all sit, whether it be this is in front or in back. And actually it makes more sense for it to be like this because it will match this configuration. So that, while it's not a necessity, you don't have to twist it. I try to keep them consistent just so they stay consistent across the board. People know that they're twisting the right thing when they're shutting them off, or when they're like turning the bleeder screw. They're not going to be twisting the flow control, not understanding that they're twisting the wrong unit because it's on the opposite side when it was taken apart. Okay, and then I am going to put just a slight turn on it. Technically you shouldn't have to, they should be able to be hand tight, but I always put just a little bit more on to cinch it down. This is still able to be opened up, but part of that is from my experience, a lot of times I won't put that little extra torque on there. If I do it just by hand, it won't leak until after I'm gone. So I try to make sure that I compensate for that. That's as simple as it is to be able to tear both of them down and to rebuild them. If you were putting in new components, you would simply have the exact components to replace them